Hi everyone. So today we'll be presenting on a topic reimagining the art of cross-platform mobile application development. Welcome to our presentation. Though the name sounds a little long, it's nothing but how you can develop simple mobile applications which are compatible across various platforms. So basically, today we will be talking about Intel XDK, which is a development kit that we will be using for developing our mobile application development. Now, to give a little bit of context as to why we wanted to present this, is because the first thing being mobile application development is becoming a hot topic in the market. Anyone and everybody is migrating. Big huge companies are migrating from web applications to mobile applications because it is not only because the mobiles are handy, but also because the application is very easy to use by everybody. So that is one of the things. As you can see, that a lot of people are migrating towards mobile application, and not only restricting mobile application development to developers, anyone and everyone, like testers in your in the corporate companies. There are various performance engineers and various developers working on other topics. Also want to know how one can develop a mobile application. So the whole idea was to kind of give people an introduction to Intel XDK and how they can build simple to complex applications using this development kit. We know that we already have various runners for this in the market. For example, one of the most famous ones being the Android SDK is used widely across for mobile application development. But one of the flaws of the Android SDK is that it is very heavy, and you need to know a little bit of Java to be able to code well in the Android SDK. Also, as the name suggests, it is specific to Android. There are also several other iOS SDKs that are in place, but Intel XDK offers one of the very big advantages of Intel XDK is that it is cross-platform compatible. Now, giving a brief introduction about what is Intel XDK. As I told before, it's nothing but a development kit created by Intel to create native app for mobile phones and tablets using basic technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you don't need to know or write huge lines of code to be able to develop a small app. You need to just know your basic HTML, CSS, and little bit of JavaScript. And the applications are compiled online via the Cordova platform, and the Cordova platform allows you to make the apps compatible across various platforms. Now, as I told before, you can develop small interactive applications to huge complex applications integrating mobile and IoT devices using the Intel XDK kit. Now I would like to show, so we would basically through our talk aims at trying to tell people as to how one can use the Intel XDK, how you can build a simple app, and how and carrying that forward, how you can integrate the client side and the server side to build a complex app using the Intel XDK. One of the things that I would like to mention is that on Intel XDK, there are a lot of videos that are available to share the knowledge as to how one can build the front end part of it. But for integrating the front end with the back end, there aren't so many available teachings online or elsewhere. So our team worked a lot on trying to build a proper server-side database and the connection bit. So that is what we would like to talk a bit about. Now I would like to show you as to how you can utilize the Intel XDK. If you can see my screen, this is the Intel XDK application that I've downloaded on my laptop. And once you open, this is how this is how your screen would appear. I have already created a dummy application. Um, so once, if you want to start a new project or start working on a new project, you can click on start a new project, and there are you can choose the options that this is the front end bit that we will be talking about in just a bit, and that will be spoken by Suprabha, one of my teammates. I would like to instead demo a small application that we had built, which is a very interactive application. I mean, just involves a couple of clicks. So I'll just show you a small dummy app that I have built. As you can see here, it has barely any code, and it just works on certain clicks. So this is so one more thing that I wanted to talk about is that there's something called one of the other advantages of Intel XDK is that while you are building your app, you can always preview your application live on your mobile as to how it appears on your mobile. Now, in Intel XDK, you have certain steps. You need to develop your app, you need to simulate it to run and to see how the simulated application looks. And then you need to push your files onto the Intel server. So once you push your files onto the Intel server, you can download an application called Intel App Preview on your phone. And once you log in using your credentials, yeah, there's something I missed before. So you need to log in, you need to create credentials to log in using your Intel XDK. And you can use the same credentials to log in your app. And then you can preview your app. So that is what I have used currently to preview my app. So I have clicked on my app, which is nothing but dummy app 1. So I have logged in already using my credentials. This is dummy app 1. You guys can see things to read. Okay, this is dummy app 1. I'm clicking on dummy app 1. On clicking, you get this huge launch button. So I'm launching my app. So this is my app. If you can't see, for the benefit, I will just tell that it's nothing but a button. Just click here. After clicking on a button, I get an image. There's another button that I need to click on. So I click on that, I get the next button, and then I have another button which goes to the home page. That's it. So this is the app that I built in like say 5 minutes. So this is just a simple app that's being built using the front end bit of it. And I have just used very basic things to build this app. So now I will hand over to Suprabha, who will explain as to how one can build front end using the Intel XDK platform.
Thanks a lot, Gyan, for the amazing introduction. So like any app framework, Intel XDK has its own set of advantages. There are many frameworks. So let's see how Intel XDK stands out. So first and foremost, Intel XDK has several drag and drop options, which definitely increases the developer's productivity. So you can drag and drop buttons, logos, and stuff, images. So that way you don't need to spend time coding on such stuff. So to get started, all you need to know is some basic HTML and CSS. So even a naive developer can start building an app. And also there is support for frameworks for JavaScript, jQuery, and also Ajax support, and professionals can develop even complex applications using this. Frameworks allows you to view immediately whatever you have designed. So there is no need to wait until the very end to see if the feature you have built works in the way you actually want it to work. And you can test this test the app with a variety of devices, so you can be sure of the extendability of the app. These are some of the benefits of Intel XDK when seen through the user interface point of view. So our app was basically some background to our app. So VMware, in collaboration with Step Up India, which is basically an NGO which helps in educating rural and also unprivileged children. So what we do here is every day few employees go to the school and teach English for nearly an hour. So our app is basically a scheduler which schedules employees and the schools and the classes that they have to teach on each particular day. So that's it from the front end perspective. Now Swathi will be speaking about from the back end perspective.
Hi, this is Swathi. So for the backend, we can either use WAMP or XAMPP server, which is a server which consists of Apache web server, MySQL database, PHP programming language, and OpenSSL. WAMP is mostly preferred in case you are using Windows, and XAMPP if you are using Linux. Since we are using Windows operating system, we have implemented backend with WAMP server. And we have choose MySQL database because it's by default, it's integrated. I mean, it's there in the WAMP server. So we are going ahead with the MySQL database. And for our application, we don't need it's not a huge database. So we can go ahead with MySQL database. But if you have a huge application, you can actually use SQLite or NoSQL, anything of your choice, and code accordingly. I'll just show how our database looks like. The syntax for the database creation or the table creation follows the same syntax as MySQL. So you can go here. This is my PHP my admin page, which you get when you install and WAMP server and all the services start running. So volunteers is a table which consists all our volunteers details like name and their personal details like email ID and contact number. School is the table wherein it consists of information about the school that the volunteers go to teach, and the content is what a particular volunteer should teach on a particular day, I suppose. And that is mentioned even by the schedule list table, wherein the actual scheduling of between the volunteers and the school and the particular date, everything is mentioned in this table. And these tables are dynamically populated from the front end via the PHP using PHP, Ajax, and JavaScript, which my friend Shreya will be explaining.
Thank you, Swathi. Coming to the integration part, I will just go through the entire integration that we have done. There are a few files which come inbuilt with Intel XDK when you create a new project. To list them, index.html, this one, app.css, AFUI header, all these come. But we created 3 new files which we needed to integrate them with the database, and these are not given to you by Intel XDK. We have to manually write them. So create a new JavaScript file under the same folder wherever app.js is present. So this JavaScript file, something looks like this. where the JavaScript and Ajax is included. Why we have included Ajax is, it might be a question that is bothering many people, but we have included Ajax for the reason that Ajax gives you dynamically loading of the pages. Whenever you click a submit button on the JavaScript, it takes a little time to load, go back to the database, then load the contents of the database, whatever you want to show, onto the screen. But Ajax is used along with JavaScript, which gives the user experience that nothing actually happened on the screen and he's getting a flawless view of whatever he wanted. So coming to the entire JavaScript, this is the basic or the main function under which the entire code of the app is written from the JavaScript perspective. These are some of the variables that we have created, and this list volunteers, whatever you are seeing here, is actually coming from the index.html, where you would have given ID, something like this, ID, vname, or like here, list school. So this will actually connect the front end to the back end, telling when you have this particular ID called list school, go to the JavaScript where a function is written to list the schools, something like this. And that ls, whatever you saw, is actually one more variable which we have given to the list school. So what happens in that particular function when you're trying to list something is that you call a Ajax function. This is a standard syntax for Ajax, where you have a type which just tells you whether you're trying to post it or get it or what it is. And then you have the database, basically from where are you populating the data, or from where you're getting the input data. And the URL basically points to your WAMP server, where we have written the connect1.php code, which actually has the server-side scripting language, where you'll push in the data into the MySQL. And this data is nothing but one more variable of the function, where it just tells as to what data are we pushing to the PHP. And the success is basically a function which is to be run when the request succeeds. So basically you're trying to pass this particular argument, that is listing the school, and you're passing it with the parameter HTML of data. Data is basically your list volunteers ka keyword. Coming to the connect1.php would look something like this, where you're trying to get the school. So if you're trying to get the school, it looks something like this. The same function corresponding to the JavaScript code, whatever we saw right now, the same PHP code would look something like this, where you have initially we have done the connection to the server. We have given the username, the password for connecting to the MySQL server. Then from there we are listing the schools here. As you can see, there is an SQL query that we are writing it here to just fetch data from the school. Then you are making it into an actual query. This is also specific to MySQL, and this will actually just format the output when we are showcasing it. And when we are fetching the data and it's done from the screen, we are just running a while loop to just showcase whatever we have got from the database. So this is again format which is needed by PHP, so that they can showcase the output. So this looks something like, for each value, show the name of the school. So looks something like this. And if it also does a handling where if there are no schools, nothing is entered by the user, then it will echo that there are no schools present. Similar type of functions do exist for all the other things also, like listing the volunteers is a similar function, just that we are listing volunteers instead of school here. Then after that, we are trying to, if we are trying to list sessions, or as Swati had mentioned, there is a contents table from where we'll fetch the data for the sessions, and for the units as well. If we are trying to do, say, we are trying to schedule, then we use this part of the code where we take all the values from the HTML, say the volunteer name, the list, whatever we have selected, that's what this particular parameter specifies here, and the value is passed to the Ajax query, which in turn passes the same thing to the connect1.php as we had written there. We have just made one more PHP just for the sake as to how we wanted to, we just wanted to keep separate out what is the most important, that is the scheduling part. So this is what we have done here, where we take the volunteer's name, the school name, and the contents, that is the unit and the session, and which date we are going to schedule. So that is the same thing as we had done in the previous connect1.php page. Here also, we are just passing a SQL query that we need to include whatever we have clicked into the database, and the database, as Swati had mentioned, gets populated with whatever data or whatever scheduling we wanted to do. It all gets populated into the database. Okay. Now we'll go through, I'll hand over to Suprabha so that she'll tell you as to how actually you can take over the SDK and make out a XDK so that you can publish it onto the Android phones.
So deployment of the Intel XDK app is very easy and it's quite fast. All you need to do is connect your device, whether it's Apple or Android phone, or it even supports Windows phone. Then you have to generate the profile by giving the paraphrase of the certificate. That's a serial ID of the device, which you can find in the settings. Then build a project. One of the key advantages of Intel XDK framework is that you can build and compile the project online. Then once you do that, you can download the generated APK or the IPA in case of Apple. These are the steps that you need to do to get the final APK and get the app running. Now, there are a few key points that you need to remember while building the app that Gyan will be covering.
Hi everyone. So now that you have seen how you can create a front end, a back end, integrate both of them, and deploy the final app on your mobile phone, I would like to just go through a couple of points to keep in mind while working with Intel XDK. The first thing being Intel XDK, its ease of use is derived from the fact that you don't need to do anything much but install the Intel XDK application on your laptops and generate user credentials for yourself. And once you do that, you can just log in and start developing. That is the first thing. And another thing that I would like everybody to keep in mind is that the app related files, like your HTML files or the related images and all of that you use for development, are stored on your local machine. So the end product that you can view in your app review is something that you push eventually, right? So the files are not pushed onto the server. Your application is pushed onto the server, and what you can view on your app review is the application. But the files are stored on your local machine. So that is something that you need to be aware of. The second point that I would like to make is that Intel XDK uses this open source and lightweight editor named called as Brackets. So Brackets gives you the automatic syntax that you can use for typing in your commands. So that will help you develop faster and easier using Intel XDK platform. And the other thing is that while you're setting, you need to be very careful while you're setting up your WAMP server. because there are if you're using corporate laptops to set up your WAM server, the default port is already being utilized by some other application in your laptops or your computers, and you need to make sure that you need to be able to make the right changes in the port to be able to deploy and set your server going. So while deploying the WAM server, you might face a couple of issues, and the first one is likely to be the change in the port, that the port is not available. So you can make the change, you can give it another port and it will start working. Another thing that we would like to mention here is that we have used MySQL database because our database is very minimal, and we don't have much information. But in case you guys want to use extensive databases, you can use PostgreSQL, you can use MongoDB, or you can use any type of database, and you can work with Intel XDK, because Intel XDK is not dependent on any particular backend. So you can use your database, and you can integrate any kind of database with your front end that you will be writing onto in the Intel XDK. And just reiterating a few points is that you need to just develop something, using basic HTML, CSS, PHP, and your JS files. You need to just develop the basic files, and once you are able to develop them, you can it's a common framework, so you don't need to develop specific files for Android, specific files for iOS, etc. So you develop the common framework, and then you use like how Suprabha had mentioned, you can once you simulate and tested your files, you can deploy them using the corresponding OS licenses, software licenses for the OS. And you can preview. One of the advantages that for developers is that they can preview their app during live during development. Like if you want to make certain changes and you want to see how it looks in the application on the front end, on the application end, you can always simulate and see how it looks. Or for that matter, if you are not satisfied with the simulator, you can always push your files to the app preview, and you can see how the app looks. And to close the session, since we have a bit more of time, what I would like to do is I would just like to show how you can build a small dummy app onto the, I would just like to show the steps as to how one can start working with Intel SDK. Okay, I have an Intel XDK here. So this is the page like I had shown previously. I can, once I click on start a new project, I can choose the templates that I want to, yeah. So one more point that I want that would be useful for you guys to keep in mind is that if you want to see the design of your application, i.e., if you want to see how it looks, if it's a more design oriented project, and just as Suprabha had mentioned during the front end presentation, that if you just want to drag and drop some buttons and take some images, put it on, and then see how it looks, you need to choose the use application designer, use app designer tab, because if you don't use that, you'll just get a raw code base. So ideally, if you're a design person, it is recommended to use the app designer. It is recommended to check the app designer box. Like I had mentioned, the one that I am choosing is for mobile application or web application development. There's also, you can also choose the IoT embedded applications if you want to develop one of those, and you get the basic Node.js files. So the IoT applications can be developed using Node.js, and you need to modify the corresponding, you need to integrate the Node.js with your other files. So you can choose that as well, but now I'm just going to choose this. So as I told, that Cordova is the platform that helps you make these apps compatible across all the operating systems. So you need to choose this. You need to click on continue. You can give an name for your app. and you click on create. So this takes a bit of time depending on your machine to machine configuration, your speed of the. Meanwhile, we have a small sample video that we have recorded. We have recorded the functioning of our app in a video. So the files that Shreya had mentioned for backend and the files that Suprabha had mentioned for the front end, along with the database integration as mentioned by Swathi. All of this is available. All of this has been integrated, and as we had mentioned that our app is used for step up for India. We have a small demo of our app, which I'll be showing soon. For now, I'm just gonna select this framework. So we are just going to go ahead with the Bootstrap. So I'm going to select. These frameworks are for your front end design basically. So I'm just going to select the default framework, and here is your code part of your application, wherein if you're comfortable with writing the code and filling in these HTML files by yourself, you can do that. Or if you're comfortable with using a design approach towards developing your app, you can use the design tab. So here under controls, you have all your you have your theme, you have your layout. You can choose the kind of layout that you want. You can see how you want to organize, whether you want to have a list view or you want to have a tab bar and all of that. Here you can just have a button. So I'm just going to add a button. And when you click the feature, you can make changes to the feature. So say I'm going to make it 50, 60. So this is my button. I can change the name. And I can choose the size and everything. And now let me show you. So this is the develop tab. This is the first tab that you encounter. Now the next tab is a simulate tab. In the simulate tab, once you press the play button, the start simulator, it starts to basically simulators to view your app onto a mobile platform. So okay, so while it is preparing the simulator, let me give you the demo of the app that we have built. So as you can see the tabs, this is the project tab, this is the application name, this is the develop tab, and we are doing in the emulate tab, we have recorded the functioning of our app. So I'm just going to play, and so in the app, a user can log in giving their username and password, and let's see what features come up. So one can log in using their username and password. There's a list volunteers feature that lists all the volunteers. And there's a schedule feature wherein a volunteer can set their schedule for themselves. The volunteer name, school name, unit, the session, and they can give the date and they can click on schedule. Now going back, we have add volunteers. So the admins can use this tab to write the name, contact number, etc., the details of the volunteer, and this directly gets added to the database. And there's a feedback tab as well, which one can use to give volunteers can write certain feedback about what sort of homework is there and like that. So all of this gets added onto the table. So the app, basically our app does not have extensive checking, but what you can do is you can always do an admin tab and a volunteer tab, and then you can give certain credentials, and you can make certain tables available to the admins only, and they can modify, and certain tables just for the volunteers, etc. So I'm just going to show you the simulated. Yeah. So if you guys can see, if I just, nothing happens because I have not done anything. But as you see that the app is just developed within, I just took barely 2 minutes. I put a button and it's done. So stopping the simulator. So using the test tab, you can push your files onto your server from your local machine. So this push file, or you can also use, or if you have the, as I had mentioned, if you have the Intel app preview application downloaded, you can also use this QR code and scan it to view your app. If you push files, it will come appear as an application, as I had shown in the first demo, onto your onto your Intel app preview. So the build and publish tabs are used for deploying your application onto your Google Play Store or your iOS Play Store. So so with this, I would like to close the presentation, and I hope that you guys found it interesting. And I hope that you guys download and start developing basic applications, because all you need is just a couple of user credentials. You can log in and start playing around with the existing files and probably try to add new files, because one of the things is that Intel XDK is very similar to how we are all used to developing web applications, because they are simpler, and mobile application code is a little complicated. But Intel XDK makes it very easy for you to develop the applications, mobile applications, because it's very similar to working with the web applications. The technology that we use is very similar to web applications. So I hope you guys start working with Intel XDK and develop some cool apps. And if you guys have any questions, you can always get back to us. We are, as you can see, we are a team of 4 from VMware. I'm Gyan, and we have seen everybody else has introduced themselves. So Swathi, who's worked on the database bit, and Shreya, who's worked on the PHP bit, the integration, and Suprabha worked on the front end and deployment bit of it. So yeah, thank you so much. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to us. We can put out our email IDs, or you guys can, yeah, we'll find a way to. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that great presentation. Really, I think it's wonderful. I think that a lot of people will take a look at this new IDK and try their hand at building an app.
Yeah, I hope.
All right. Well, and if you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to us at Global Tech Women, and we'll put you in contact with the team here. I love what you've done with the app, and what an amazing use to help schedule people to go out to the schools and work with the schools. That's really a great way to use this, and very honorable.
Yeah, thanks, Gnana. Thanks a lot for giving us this opportunity. We are very glad that we have a platform to present our work, and hopefully people get to know that they can also work with this. It's very simple, and they can probably try their hand and play around with what is there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people will take a look at this and give it a try. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Gnana.
All right, so we'll look forward to seeing everyone at our next sessions, which will be Friday morning, which will be Friday evening your time. And we have a number of sessions throughout the day, and that will be the last day of Voices. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you then. Bye, everybody.
Sure. Bye-bye.